What's going on, everybody? So we're back. You can see that way. There it is. We got the hoist arms up. They're bolted to the floor. So what we did was drill down. The concrete here is 6 inches thick. That's the requirement they want for these hoists. And the bolts go down 4 3/4 inches. So, you know, you still got 1 1/4 inches or whatever underneath that bolt before you go through the slab. So last night we drilled all those, as you saw. And then I just came back, torqued them all down to 110 foot-pounds. That's the torque rating they want on them. So we did that. Now tonight we need to run the cables and we need to secure the base plate and hang the pump and do everything on that arm over there. I also did go and I stripped all the stickers off the mast. And the reason for that is we're gonna put some 710 stickers on there. So I don't want the other stickers that were on there when we bought it. So I sent all the dimensions over to our sticker guy, 52 Graphics, and told him what I wanted. So he's in the middle of printing those now. And then, yeah, hopefully we can get those on ASAP. The reason we're trying to rush through this is Stan, the camera guy, he had his car in here on the rotisserie you probably saw, that 240, and he's decided that he's gonna sell that project. He's found something else that he wants. So I wanna get it off the rotisserie, and it was kind of sketchy how we put it up on there. Yeah. So yeah, that was kind of sketchy as you saw, and it would be a lot easier to take it off with this 2-post. We can just roll it in, pick it up, drop down the wheels, and see you later. So I'm trying to get this thing done. He's got a couple people that want to buy that car, so I don't want to hold him up and make him lose that sale. So we're gonna get this thing wired up, done, hopefully in the next day or so. We'll get that thing popped off the rotisserie, interior, kind of slam it back in real fast. I'll give him a hand, and then outdoors, see you later. And then, yeah, we'll bring in his next project and show you guys what it is. As for me, we're still working on the Mustang. The fuel pump should be here this week. We had a mix up at our vendor and it never went out since like February. So it's been a couple months now. So yeah, pushing around the shop's getting old. If you follow us on Instagram and Facebook, you saw that we have the carbon hood here now. I still am waiting for the big wing for the back. I have a new trunk lid that we have. That's over at the graphics guys too. It's getting a wrap done to it. And then I think it's just alignment and fuel pump, and that thing's done. So anyways, we've got a lot of things in here that are 50% or so. So enough talking, let's get to it. We're gonna get this thing plumbed up, wired up, and ready to go. Stan! Don't yell with the doors open. Shh, it's late. Before we go any further, let's thank who this video is coming from today. This video is coming from Tough Duck. As you can see here, my shirt says, "What the duck?" And then it says, "Duck and autocorrect," which I think is freaking hilarious. So anyways, I got the shirt, I got their bibs. You know, the guys over at Tough Duck are absolutely incredible. Their clothes are absolutely incredible. I've had these bibs for a little while now. I got sweaters and hats and masks and whatever. We went a little bit crazy with it, but yeah, their stuff's awesome. So Tough Duck is the brand and you need to go buy some. Now, back to the show. Pow! Got 4 little bolts in the back that are gonna mount it to the side of the column. We got one hose that goes from the pump down to the bottom here for the ram. And then we have one hose that goes from this ram underneath the base plate over to the other ram, and that's what powers this thing up and down. Beside that, the only other thing that we have to do is a couple cables, and those cables run from the top of this yellow piece here up to the top of the column. There's a pulley, comes all the way down and then back across into the other one. So they kind of like link together so they don't lift like this or like this. And then what you do is once you get it powered up, you go up and you just adjust them for level. You know, you can adjust so that if your floor in your shop is like this, you can make them lift level so the car doesn't kind of hang sideways. So we're gonna go ahead and get this pump mounted. We'll get the plumbing part of it done. We'll get the hoses run. We're gonna do the cables last. And then like I said, we'll get this thing wired up hopefully tomorrow. where we can flip this 240 and yeah, get this thing gone to a new owner. So yeah, do stuff. Hot Wheels, hit me up. We need more sponsors. So this is just 4 bolts and nuts, a lock washer on them. Just trying to get a couple of these set in place before too long so this thing can't fall. The top 2 have a slot so you can kind of slip it down on it. The bottom 2 are just a hole. Kids, don't do battery acid. Interesting fact, tonight is the first night since being in the new shop that we're working with the doors open. So doors open, t-shirt as you can see. This is a monumental location. Mark this one down on the calendar. Okay, so the pump's mounted. So now we're going to go and get a adjustable wrench. And we're gonna put the hose that goes from the pump to the bottom of this ram here. And then we're gonna pull the base plate and do the hose across. Stand! Go. Done. Look how easy that was. Okay, now we're gonna pull this base plate. Okay, so there's 2 different types of 2-post hoists that you can get. One has a base plate like this one. You can see that blue strip that runs across the bottom. Or you get one that runs across the top, up on the top there. Pros and cons, I guess, if you have the one on the bottom, you gotta go over that stupid little hump every time. You may trip over it, but there's nothing above, so you can kind of lift whatever you want that sticks up out of the top, or if you have a truck in there with a ladder rack or whatever, it'll pick it up and you'll be fine. The other way, you don't have this thing on the bottom, so you know, if you're gonna build a chassis or something right in that area, you don't have that bump to deal with. You can push it on a little bit easier or pull it on or whatever, you don't have to worry about it. But if you go up, they have like a little trip wire that runs across the top. If you go up and you hit that trip wire, it'll stop you from going up. But if you have a truck with a ladder rack or one of those conversion vans with a little like bump up so you can walk in them, that thing you may only be able to lift a foot or 2 feet instead of, you know, 5 feet up or 6 feet or whatever it is. So we went with a base plate one. This is what I like. I'll deal with a little bump on the floor and then have all the headroom that I need compared to the other way around. And usually the ones that have the base plate like this, the columns are further apart. I don't know why. That's something that I noticed when I was pricing all these things out. And for me, I wanted as much space between the columns as I could. I like the trucks with the big wheels that stick stupid far out, and trailers and whatever. And if you got something that you need, pick it up to put it on a trailer or whatever, you know, having extra room between those columns is always nice. And if you really suck at driving and you kind of put it on like a 45-degree angle, you can still swing the arms underneath and do it. So anyways, we went with the base plate model, not the overhead. It's personal preference, I guess. Buy whatever you like. There you go, you can see that base plate there. So underneath this base plate, you're gonna have one cable that goes from that yellow guy all the way underneath to this yellow guy. You're gonna have one that goes from that one all the way back underneath this way, and you're gonna have a hydraulic hose that goes through there. Like I said, if you have the upper model, it's gonna go up the top and then across and then back down. So you wouldn't have all this stuff here, but this is what we got. All right, so as you can see, this hose, let me show you this guy here, has that little bend to it, and that's so this sits on the floor of the shop, and then it bends up and then back into the bottom of the hydraulic cylinders. So that's why it's got that kink that way. You don't want to have it the other way, because then your base plate will ride up on it every time. And since this is a flare fitting, I don't know if you can see real good there. Yeah, there's a flare there, it's a cup. You wanna make sure there's no dirt or anything inside that cup, because then it doesn't wanna seal very well, and you will have a leak. So just wipe it out, wipe off the male side, and you're good to go. So So let me take you over here. And I had the arms laying down. So you can see the top of the ram here. There's a big chain, like a bicycle chain that rides on here. That now, when I had this laying down on the trailer, the ram moved to the side. The chain came off of here and fell down in there. Now I get to go fishing with, I'm gonna attempt a crowbar, see if I can get it with the hook. Pull the chain up, and then this ram has to the bottom has to come back that way toward the camera and drop down so that I can hook up the end of the hydraulic hose that goes across the bottom. We're just winging it because I didn't want to read the instructions, but I can tell you that the chain needs to go on top of that. Probably should have fished all this when it was still laying down. That probably would have been smarter. But, as everybody knows, I'm not that smart, so here we are. Here we are. Nothing to see here. Just a dummy. Okay, so we got chains on both of our yellow sliders. I don't know what you want to call them. Thingies there that go up and down. So now we're gonna run the cables, and I'm gonna wing it because I don't want to look at the instructions. And we're gonna go up, down, over to this one, and join into this yellow guy, and then up this yellow one, around the thing, the pulley at the top, and down to the other guy. So let's do that. All right, so here we are again. We got our bolt, our threaded end here, and it's got two nuts on it. So you put one on the top, one on the bottom. We're gonna go all the way up. That's gonna face down. We're gonna go all the way up around the pulley, down to the bottom, around the next pulley, all the way over to the other side. Get her done. There she is, right there. Now we're gonna unthread this guy. That one's gonna go up like that. Thread this one on the bottom. I'll make the nut snug for right now. I don't have the mics on.
Is it plugged in?
No.
Oh, there.
Yeah, I know, but the audio is gonna be poo. And then the audience is gonna be like, dude, your audio sucks.
Editor, please enhance here.
Yeah, I should.
Everything.
To my editing professional, can you please make the audio better? Or do what you can, since I'm a dummy and didn't have the mics plugged in. So we're just gonna continue because my hands are gross. And yeah, I'll try to remember for the next video. I apologize in advance because I'm a dummy. All right, so we're pulling the nuts off so that it can be a little bit smaller of a package to fish through all of this stuff. So we're gonna go down there. There you are, down at the bottom. Goes around that pulley down there. There we go. That's gonna go over there like that. We go around this guy here, and then up. Alrighty, so we got it fished up through here. We're gonna put this nut on. I'm gonna crank this one pretty far down. There's a little hole here in the top of this guy. We're gonna fish this through. There you go. Throw this one down here. Okay, and now all I gotta do is slip it on the pulley at the bottom. So this one's gonna go from there, like that, like that, like that, and like that. Which makes absolutely zero sense. What did I do wrong? Uh-oh. So luck would have it, without looking at the instructions, I did do it correctly. The part that I'm a dumbass for is that one of the yellow slider things or whatever was like here and the other one was down. I couldn't figure out why there was a lot of cable. Once I lifted them up so that they're the same height, everything works out just fine. All right, so I move the camera back. We're gonna run it now. Now this one goes opposite. So we're gonna go, it threads down into this one, up around the pulley, back down to the bottom, around the pulley, all the way across the floor like this, around this pulley, and up into this column over here. So, before we thread it all the way up in there, the cables have kind of been jostled around here. So I'm just gonna wipe them real quick with a rag. Just wanna make sure there's any crud, dirt, whatever off of them. And then what we're gonna do before we get this thing really rocking for service here is I'm gonna run a little bit of grease across these, and you put a little bit of grease on there because it keeps the moisture out from getting in between all the wire strands in it, which keeps the cables from rusting, which keeps the cables good longer. So if you rub up against the inside of the column, you're gonna get grease on you and it's gonna suck, but probably shouldn't have been inside that column. And underneath that base plate, the floor is gonna have a bunch of grease on it, but when the cables go up and down, you're gonna get grease as it passes by. So hopefully, kind of like self-preservation, you know? Or at least that's the intent. One of these ends, you can see, one has a ton of thread, one has a little bit of thread. We're gonna put the little bit of thread down since it's the harder one to adjust. And then we're gonna put the one with a lot of thread pointed up since it's the easier one to adjust. So, let's do it. On a different motivational note, cables are now run. So what we're gonna do is take a measurement from the bottom of the base plate up to the top of that yellow slider or whatever. I'm gonna take that on both sides, and what you do is adjust so that by tape measure, it goes up about the same. That'll get us damn close. Once we put a car on it, or whatever, probably be this 240 actually, we'll just put a level underneath the thing. I've already made sure that the columns are level this way and this way. So the columns are bolted to the floor, they're level. I had to put one shim underneath this side. The other column didn't need anything. So those are level where they sit. We can tape measure it, that'll get us really, really close. And then once we start going up, with the car on it, a little bit of weight on there, that's when we'll make our final adjustments to get it on the money. Do stuff. Have you ever watch Mike Patey, whatever his name is? He builds the airplanes. He built Draco, the red airplane, like the crazy like stun plane that takes off in like 8 feet.
Oh yeah.
And then he crashed it. Now he's building this other crazy one.
Imagine crashing a plane and then going building another one.
Dude, this is like his 10th one, and this one's like ridiculous awesome. But anyways, this guy, like, I'm not even into airplanes, but the dude's channel is freaking money.
Yeah.
He builds all his own carbon fiber parts, and like, it's incredible. So shout out to you. I'm gonna link it in the description below. If you're not into airplanes, but you're into cool stuff, check this guy's channel out. Money. Anyways, he always like, he does these little like blips of, you know, he'll be building something and then he comes back and he's like, get to work. And he like,
oh my God, it's like
let's get back to work. So anyways, that's my do stuff. This video is tribute to him. I'm gonna keep saying do stuff all the time. Do stuff. Anyways, now that he's done making noise, try to film here, bro. We're within 1/8 of an inch right now. Actually, a 16th of an inch, not an eighth. We're within a 16th of an inch on height. So I'm just gonna crank these things down, and yeah, that's what you get by doing it by eye, with no instructions. Do stuff. Hey, now, bro. So what I'm doing, just so everybody knows, I'm just taking whatever I can with my fingers. I'm gonna yank up on that thing, tighten those nuts down by hand. It's really close right now because it's sitting on those locks. But again, I want to make sure that the cables are as tight as they can get right now. So just by hand, I'm just going to yank up on there, thread that thing down. That'll get us damn close. And then once the weight goes on it and those cables are kind of stretched or under some tension, we'll tighten them up and get it ready to go. Okay, so now we got these good to go. Tighten this sucker up. So cables are in. We're going to go to the bottom there. The hydraulic hose that goes between the two uprights is a little long. It kind of like does this in the middle. We're gonna make sure that doesn't hit the cables because as that thing runs back and forth, the cables go up and down. I don't want it to chafe through that hose. Set the base plate back on. We're gonna set the arms on the hoist itself, and that's it, I think. Wipe it down with some brake clean. And there you have it. So we got our hoist all set up. We got the arms on. We got the little pads on. They're just sitting there in the top. We got the extensions if we need them, so we can get under a truck with the running boards or whatever. They're over there in the box. Only thing left is running a wire from here and over. So it's early. I feel good that it's early. I'm exhausted. Last night and the last couple nights prior to that were really long, you know, 3-4 hours of sleep, 4 or 5 nights in a row. Kind of takes a toll on you. So we're gonna call it a night early and be back at it tomorrow. You guys have yourself a great night. Tune in for the next video where hopefully we get this 240 off the rotisserie, get that thing out the door to its new owner. We get the 06 on the hoist so we can wrap up some of the suspension stuff. I'm pretty excited to show you guys what we got for that. Get the fuel pump in. We're ready to go do burnouts. So yeah, have a great night, do stuff, and we'll catch you on the next one. See ya! All right, so we're back out here. Last night we put all the cables and everything in. Today during the day, my dad came along and wired that up while I was doing some other stuff. So that's all done, things ready to turn on. We gotta fill it up with oil. So we have our hydraulic 32 weight oil we're gonna pour into it, and then we are gonna try it out. So let's do that. Where is my funnel? I guess tapping on the side to figure out level doesn't work. I got oil all over my super sweet Tough Duck bibs. Thumbs down. So you go all the way up, and that'll obviously extend the cylinders. Go all the way back down. We'll go all the way back up, all the way back down again. And hopefully that pushes out the majority of the air that's in the system. And then we should be good to put a car on it and then make our adjustments so that the car sits level left to right. So because I had this thing raised up, I don't know, 1.5 feet or 2 feet or whatever, the tank now is going to overflow quite a bit, so I put the bucket underneath with the funnel. Hopefully I can trap that fluid again, but time will tell. There you go, so we're all the way down. And not very much at all actually came out. So the amount that we overfilled was a close guess to what the rams and the lines would take up in the system. So like I said, we're gonna go up and down one more time. And that should purge out the majority of the air in this system. And then that should be about it. We're ready to go, I think.